Good morning. Sorry, I I let that run a little long at the beginning. I had to make a smart ass comment to somebody on Facebook. So if you're paying attention to my Facebook feed and you see my live video and you heard me say I made a smart ass comment and you were the recipient of said smart ass comment, congratulations. You win nothing, but you got mentioned on my show. Not by name. I've thought about mentioning people by name. I think I should give them an opportunity to defend themselves, though. So I don't bring it up. I just kind of let it go. I kind of center myself here in my own frame. That would be good. Look at there. That's better. Oh, now I'm all crooked-eyed. There we go. That's not bad. Good job. I'm getting better at this every day. Better at this every day. Welcome to Middays, Midlife in the Midwest. I am the host, Eric. You call me Eric Tiemann. You call me Big Head. Most people have just shortened that to Head at this point in time. My moniker on X is now Eric the Head, but I spell the Head like H-E-D because it's kind of like Eric the Red, right? Who was like the famous Viking, right? No? Okay, well, whatever. That's what I was doing. That was my level of creativity that day. You're just going to have to deal with it. That's fine. You can make fun of it too. I'm perfectly okay with that. I've got to get some better front lighting in my setup here in time. Soon enough. We'll get there. All righty. So, like I said, I had have a bunch of stuff to go through here today. So I figure we best just get started. Oh, I should probably mention Middays Midlife in the Midwest is brought to you by Living Life and Style Travel. They are a full service travel agency helping you with personal leisure travel or business travel. They can help you with flights, hotels, all-inclusive resorts, cruises. They also specialize in I totally lost my train of thought. Somebody started calling me, and so they kind of messed up my train of thought. But they also specialize in the Caribbean and Mexico and cruising. So they can help you with all of those things. You can reach them at 816-744-1405. That's 816-744-1405. They currently are filling up their Signature One group cruise for this summer in June. So if that is something you'd be interested in, it's a trip on Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, sailing out of Los Angeles, going down the Mexican Riviera, hitting Cabo San Lucas, Mazatlan, and Puerto Vallarta. It leaves on June 13th and returns June 20th. Anybody within earshot is welcome to join the party. 816-744-1405 or livinglifeandstyle.com. That is how you reach Living Life and Style Travel. All right, on to the program. Time to share. We're going to start here today. The one popular travel upgrade that isn't worth the extra cost per Rick Steves. I have no idea who Rick Steves is. He's probably some real predominant travel review guy, but I don't know who he is. But his opinion is apparently important. This article off of islands.com is written by Kristen Conrad. And it came out today. This is hot off the presses, folks. Hot off the presses. So, if you're pinching pennies as you're planning a European vacation, it likely starts with choosing where to go, like the cheapest European beaches or more affordable European cities. If you're planning to visit multiple destinations on your trip, you should definitely factor in the best way to get around that will also save you money. Yeah, the way you're going to travel from spot to spot in Europe, definitely a big budget item and how you're going to make that happen. You're likely going to be traveling by train. That is also true. They do have a lot of bus travel as well, but train is probably the most common as you're traveling through Europe. But you might be looking for a little splurge during your European journey. Should it be for a first class ticket on the train ride? For Rick Steves, renowned travel guidebook author. Oh, well, that's who Rick Steves is. He's the renowned travel guidebook author. I had no idea. The answer is no. Do not pay extra for that first class ticket on the train ride. Second class train, quote, second class train cars get there just as fast as first class train cars, Steves explained on his website, Rick Steves Europe. Well, that makes sense. I mean, they're all on the same train. So, yeah, that totally makes sense. Throughout Europe, first class tickets cost about 50% more than second class. The difference in comfort is usually minimal. It's not like first versus coach on a plane. The vast majority of Europeans don't travel in first class unless someone else is paying for it. Plenty of people agree with Steve's take. One person on a Rick Steves Europe community forum said, quote, the difference in personal space and comfort just isn't that vast, nor is your movement constricted by fastened seatbelt signs. And if there is food for service, you can get some anytime you like. If there is food service, you can go get some anytime you like. That's what it actually says. But the points are all well founded. I mean, I got news for you. If I am traveling, even if it's air here in the United States, and I'm going, just a 3-hour trip or something, I'm not traveling at a higher level than coach. And, according to this article, the comfort in a second class train with a second class train ticket sounds like it's superior to what a coach plane ticket would cost or would be as far as comfort. So yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Choosing second class over first class train tickets might depend on which train service you're using, though. So something else to keep in mind. Of course, while we're on board with Rick Steves' assessment, there is a fair amount of nuance to the issue of first class versus second class train tickets. It depends on what country you're in and what type of train you're on. If you want to help ensure that you'll have somewhere to sit down, especially when traveling during peak times, you might want to spring for the first class, as those cars will likely have fewer people in them. That also means those cars are typically quieter. So if you're in desperate need of some shut-eye and the first class ticket isn't that much more expensive, it could be worth it. Sometimes there might even be enough additional perks in first class to make it worthwhile. A meal could be included with your first class ticket on lines like the Eurostar and TGV Lyria. Some train stations have exclusive lounges for their first class passengers, which may have amenities like free Wi-Fi, food, and drinks. Take some time to read the fine print on what's included or not included in the first class versus second class ticket ahead of time. Moreover, research the type of train line if you can, and decide if any potential perks would justify the higher price of the first class ticket. If it doesn't, save the splurge money for something else. To save even more money, Steve's knows the best places to eat in Europe on a shoestring budget. The link to this article is in the description, so you can click the link in the article for those best places to eat on a shoestring budget. And downloading Steve's free audio guides to European cities will help you get around without having to pay for a tour. I know there's a lot of negative connotations that go along with tours, but I don't mind tours. I have fun on tours. There's people to talk to. You're all kind of checking out same new stuff that you didn't know about. I find them to be fun. Well, my brother does not like them at all. He is one of those types that wants to go out and get his hands dirty in experiencing the foreign lands and the foreign cultures. So he would rather go with no guides whatsoever and just kind of see what kind of adventures he can get into. I'm a married man with children. I can't afford to do that. All right, on to the next article for today. Let me share the screen. There we go. A once thriving Smoky Mountain Resort town now is an eerie gem with abandoned cabins and serene trails. I love these kind of places. They're awesome. Let me get rid of all this bullshit on the screen. All right. Okay, goodbye. So, this one also from the islands. This one is from Amy McMahon. I found this about a week and a half ago, and I forgot that it was on my cell phone where I found it, so I didn't bring this up like last week. But I'm still interested by it because I love these kind of ghost town, resort type, things like where you have to go hiking, and it's kind of like looking at ancient ruins. I love looking at history stuff. So even if it's ancient ruins from 1956, I still find it to be cool and fun to do. So, a once thriving Smoky Mountain resort town now is an eerie gem with abandoned cabins and serene trails on islands.com by Amy McMahon, published February 24th. When it comes to Amy writes, when it comes to the complete list of every national park in America, the Great Smoky Mountains National Park tops it as one of the most visited every year. According to National Park Service data, around 13 million people visited the Great Smokies in 2023, in comparison to Grand Canyon National Park, the second most visited, with just under 5 million visitors. This makes Elkmont, Tennessee, a ghost town deep in the Smokies, a curious study. Elkmont, established circa 1840 as Little River, was a thriving logging town and resort area when the town and its environs were designated a national park in 1934. Federal government land grab. But yeah, moving on. Longtime members of several mountain clubs in the area, such as the Appalachian Club, were instrumental in preserving the land as a national park. When the park was established, these residents were given the option of selling or leasing their cabins for a lifetime lease that eventually expired in 1992. So they were given the option of selling or leasing their cabins in Elkmont. The lifetime lease expired in 1992. Interesting. The town continued to attract visitors, especially to the Wonderland Hotel, which hosted many events and became a club of its own, eventually public. However, the last full-time resident left the town in the 1990s, which begs the question, why did Elkmont fail in one of the most visited parks in the nation? Abandoned cabins in the forest of Great Smoky National Park. Most of the best preserved and most photographed ghost towns in the United States are ruins of mining shanty towns in the West or famous abandoned sites. However, the Great Smokies have a few ghost towns, like Lost Cove, reachable only by a strenuous hike, and Proctor, one of the underwater ghost towns of Appalachia, now mostly submerged in Fontana Lake. Lost Cove's last residents moved out in 1957 when the railroad and logging industries collapsed. The town was never reachable via paved road. Proctor was flooded due to a new dam in the area. However, the reasons behind the eventual abandonment of Elkmont are less straightforward. This is a very interesting little tale. Many of the leftover cabins seem surprisingly intact, while all that's left of some cabins is a stone chimney. The reason for this mix of preserved buildings and ruins is due to a compromise between the National Park Service and the National Register of Historic Places. After the NPS declined the renewal of leases on Elkmont cabins in the 1990s, the NRHP swooped in and placed 49 of Elkmont structures on their list. This was controversial as the park initially refused to perform upkeep on these structures, leaving them to crumble back into the forest. In 2009, an agreement was reached, and 19 of the listed structures were slated for restoration, with the rest either doomed to demolition or ruin. Both ruins and restored cabins, with the 19th cabin finished in 2024, can now be visited or even rented for events like the restored Appalachian Clubhouse. Serene scenic trails in the Great Smokies. I've driven through the Great Smokies. They're really beautiful. And while they're considered to be smaller mountains, well, not just considered, they factually are smaller mountains than the Rocky Mountains. I still got the same paranoid freaking feeling driving through the Smoky Mountains that I did when I drove up to Pikes Peak. I hate heights. I just want to point that out. I hate heights, but Smoky Mountains are really cool. Elkmont, this tiny Tennessee town hidden in the Smokies, is no longer a resort town, but it's still close to Elkmont Campground and some of the most beautiful landscapes of the national park. Staying in Elkmont Campground gives you access to some of the area's best trails, as well as the eerie buildings of Elkmont Ghost Town. Elkmont Campground is just 8 miles from Gatlinburg. I've been to Gatlinburg. We did the what was it called? Oh, my wife was so excited about going, and we did it. And we went down the little slide thing. You sit in the little cart. Alpine, is it an alpine slide? I think it's called an alpine slide. There's no snow, so but you like go down this concrete flume, and you have this little cart, and you have a brake on it, whipping around corn. It's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun. I kind of want to do it again. They have them other places too, but Gatlinburg's where I went to, where we went and did it. So it was fun. So anyways, Elkmont Campground is just 8 miles from Gatlinburg, Tennessee, a gateway to the Smokies. Elkmont Ghost Town is a short walk from the campground's parking lot. Scenic, serene trails lead from Elkmont to secret waterfalls, rushing creeks, mountain peaks, and plenty of forest views. Hike along Jake's Creek or Little River to see some remaining chimneys and visit the charming Elkmont Troll Bridge. The 80-foot-high Laurel Falls is also a short hike from the campground. Elkmont is magnificent. Elkmont is magnificent in the autumn when the trees burst into vivid red, orange, and yellow hues. The most crowded time around Elkmont Campground is during the famous synchronous firefly event in May and June, when a certain species of local fireflies synchronize flashing patterns as a mating ritual. Tickets for the event are sold lottery style and sell out months in advance. So long-term planning, that is crazy. People buy tickets and they're so popular, they have to do it in lottery style, and they sell out months in advance just to see fireflies mate. It's like insect porn. So strange. I mean, it probably would be cool to see all these little bugs up in the air and flashing lights and whoop, 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 whoop. That would probably be pretty cool, but it is kind of weird that, you have to buy tickets to such an event. That's pretty wild. So there you have it, man. Elkmont. They have a campground. They have a few of the old cabins that have been restored. You can rent them. Looks like it would make for a pretty great adventure. I got to be honest. If you really like nature, man, the Smoky Mountains are a fantastic area. And if you really like nature, very much worth spending some time in the Smoky Mountains if you haven't. All right, on to the cruise line. Is that a little better? Seems like I lost part of my sound there for a minute. Okay, I'm back. It sounds better now. So where were we? Oh yeah, on to cruise information. I have been thinking this since I started seeing the new Oasis class itineraries. Royal Caribbean is ruining most of the Oasis class ships. Fans are not happy. They push back on the short cruise shift. So, and I haven't totally dug in to the new itineraries for 2026 and 2027 yet, but they are starting to roll them out and, planning with what ports are going to be the home ports for different ships and such. And I've noticed that quite a few of the Oasis class ships, which are they're not as they used to be the biggest cruise ships in the world, right? They used to be the biggest cruise ships in the world. Those have now been surpassed by the Icon class on Royal Caribbean. And so so now they're laying out new itineraries for the Oasis class ships. So this comes from the Royal Caribbean blog and is by Matt Hochberg, or it could be Hochberg, be Hochberg. There's lots of ways you could say that name. I'm going with Hochberg. Yeah, Hochberg. Yeah. So Royal Caribbean's move to deploy more of its ships to sail shorter 3- and 4-night itineraries has sparked a heated debate amongst its loyal customers. Look at those giant ships. They're fantastic. Royal Caribbean released new short Caribbean cruises this week, but some cruise fans don't love a notable shift in the cruise line strategy. Utopia of the Seas and Wonder of the Seas will have already made this switch in 2025, but Oasis and Harmony of the Seas will join the trend when they start sailing short cruises in the fall of 2026. See, this is what I'm talking about, dude. This is not what we want. It's so sad that Royal Caribbean is ruining most of the Oasis class ships with short cruises, said Soren Hemmingson on Facebook, and it echoes what hundreds of other diehard Royal Caribbean fans expressed about the new releases. The big change is in the winter of 2026, 2027. The big change is Royal Caribbean will have all but one of its Oasis class ships sailing short cruises in the Caribbean. And they're all less than 7 nights. Yeah. I mean, I guess you could do back-to-backs. You could book back-to-backs. Sometimes you get a discount for booking back-to-backs. It's true. I mean, it can't be the worst thing. But, I mean, at the same time, you know, when you have the shorter run, you can't go see as many of the cooler things, right? You only have so much time to get to point A to point B. The reason so many cruisers are upset is the lack of itinerary variety and the high cost for such a short trip. And those Oasis class ships, they're some of the more expensive ships to sail on because they're some of the newer and biggest ships in the world. Some longtime cruisers feel a week is necessary to be able to fully enjoy these mega ships' amenities. That's definitely true. Entertainment and dining experiences. With more ships being allocated to short sailings, seasoned cruisers are feeling left out. I mean, it goes without saying. Okay, I was on a 7-day on Harmony of the Seas. That's one of the Oasis class ships. Is being short, and you're going to these 3- and 4-night cruises. We didn't get to see and do everything we wanted to do on a 7-day cruise. And granted, that allows you to, it gives you the impetus, it gives you the reason for wanting to come back and do it again. But at the same time, I may want to try a different boat next year, right? I don't have an opportunity. I might not ever get an opportunity to experience more of the ship if I don't experience it the time I go. Doesn't mean I won't. It just means that I might not get to. And that's, I'm sorry, but that's not great, man. With more ships being allocated, there's seasoned cruisers are feeling left out. Quote, I can't seem to find it worth my time to drive 8+ hours or cost beneficial to fly for a 3- or 4-night cruise. This hurts those of us who are just far enough away that have to come in the day before, end quote, said Barry Akins. The only Oasis class ship that will remain offering week-long cruises is Symphony of the Seas out of Galveston, Texas. It's not clear what Allure of the Seas will be doing yet. Oh, so they're moving I didn't see that they're moving Symphony of the Seas to Galveston, because Harmony of the Seas was going out of Galveston. So, at least you have an Oasis class ship that is still going to do 7-night week-long cruises. That's a good cruise out of Galveston too. That's the one we took this past summer. You cruise down, you hit Cozumel, you hit Costa Maya and Roatan. Some of them might jog over to Jamaica instead of Roatan. There are options there, but yeah, that was a really nice cruise. We really enjoyed our time on that cruise last summer. A shift toward attracting new cruisers. Why is Royal Caribbean moving more of its ships to sail short cruises? The answer is at the heart of its business. Short cruises is really the on-ramp to new to cruise. Vicky Freed, Senior Vice President of Sales, Trade Support, and Service for Royal Caribbean, explained to travel agents during a webinar yesterday. Quote, it's kind of the test drive. People don't have to invest a lot of time. They don't have to invest a lot of money to see if cruising is the right experience for them. I don't necessarily disagree with that, but at the same time, to lose so much of your capacity to short cruises on these wonderful large boats, I mean, look, man, they're the ones who are paid to do it, and it's not like Royal Caribbean is doing bad business. They're doing great business and selling out all their, selling out all kinds of sailings. So we'll see if it pays off. Doesn't mean I have to be a giant fan of it. Traditionally, older cruise ships sailed these short cruises, but Royal Caribbean wanted to flip the script and attract new cruisers with the best ships possible. I understand that. That is definitely a strategy, and I'm sure it's a well thought out strategy too. The idea is offer the very best new cruise ship in the short cruise market to give new cruisers an obvious choice of which ship is best for them to try. Shorter cruises allow passengers to get a taste of the best that Royal Caribbean has to offer without committing to a week-long cruise. From a business standpoint, Royal Caribbean is doubling down on what works. The cruise line is targeting a younger demographic and those who want a quick escape without taking a full week off work. Shorter cruises often sell out faster and at higher per night rates, making them a profitable option. One comment on the new deployment: recognize the business reality. A very short lesson in Cruising 101. Short cruises, you can turn that ship twice and flip it and make more money. That only makes sense for the cruise lines. Fresh passengers buying more drinks and gambling more. This is nothing new. I mean, yeah, it's kind of like, cruise ships are very much like a table at a restaurant, man. And if you're waiting tables at a restaurant, you want to have nice, expensive tables that have a big ticket, and generally those tickets are going to take longer, right? But that doesn't mean you don't want to flip that table and get to the next table, right? I mean, I've got this nice table. They're ordering appetizers and full meal, 2-course meal, and then they want dessert or 3-course meal, 4-course, whatever it is, right? And the longer it goes, the more expensive it gets. It's going to be a wonderful tip, but at the same time, you still want to be able to finish that table up and get new customers on that table. And this is basically what they're doing here. And they want to make sure that they're using some of their best inventory to attract these new buyers. I understand. I understand. That doesn't mean I like it, but I understand. The shift away from longer cruises on Oasis class ships means there aren't many options for a traditional 7-night Caribbean cruise on an Oasis class ship. There are sailings on Icon class vessels, but right now Icon class ships command the highest average cruise fares in the fleet. They are expensive. The Icon class ships are really expensive. One workaround is to book a back-to-back sailing where you sail the same ship twice in a row to get a week on the ship. However, there isn't a lot of difference in where your ship visits. I hate this, wrote Susan Cleat. Quote, we have to fly, and it's not worth the 3, 4, or 5 days. End quote. Royal Caribbean executives have repeatedly said the top 2 reasons people book a cruise ship vacation are for the destinations and the food. Short cruises, especially 3-night sailings, usually go to the Bahamas. Cruise fans complained, quote, this caters to those that live close to the ports, end quote. Quote, they are only worth it if you live near the port, end quote. And there is a lot of truth to that. I mean, I love the idea of those 3, of doing a little weekender, 3-4 night cruise. There's, dude, you can get onto some of these ships, even in a balcony for $600 per person in a balcony. You know, I mean that, let's do the math. $200 per person per night on a 3-night. And, that's $400. It's basically a $400 hotel room. That's what it is. But it's $400 hotel room and an all-inclusive, essentially. Not entirely all-inclusive. We all know how it is with cruise ships. Another frustration is many travelers feel that large feature-packed ships like those in the Oasis class are wasted on short itineraries where there simply isn't enough time to experience everything on board. This is really the end all be all about why it's a less likable idea. Matt Anderson wrote, quote, "Just don't understand why all the Oasis class ships are moving to short cruises. You have to take just as many days off work to go on the 4-day cruise, since it's Monday through Friday, as a 7-day Sunday to Sunday cruise. Also, there's just way too much happening on these ships to only be on for 3 or 4 days." I mean, they're completely right. Those ships are huge. There's so much to see. On my 7-day cruise, we didn't even have enough time to see all the stuff we wanted to see on that cruise. I mean, they're just huge, and there's a lot going on these boats. Another person also echoed this concern. Quote, "Can't say I like this move. We don't like the Icon because it's crawling with out of control kids, and was perfectly happy going back to Oasis class for our 7-night Eastern Caribbean." End quote. So, yeah, I mean, I completely get it. Not getting a lot of warm reception on these new itineraries from the seasoned cruisers, though. That's the point. They're making these changes. They are not making these changes for the seasoned cruiser. They are making these changes to bring in a new market, a new group, a new generation of cruisers. And you have to, I just think they could probably do a better job of diversifying. That's what I think. I mean, I think you have, I don't know how many of the Oasis classes. I'd have to go back and look where everybody's being docked. But between Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and Orlando, you have at least 3, maybe 4 Oasis class ships up there. And I'm thinking you could have at least one of them running a 7-day. You could alternate which cruise ship is doing a 7-day, and then go right back to 3 to 4 days, as you rotate through the Oasis class ships that are coming out of Eastern Florida. I don't know. I'm not an itinerary planner for Royal Caribbean, so what the hell do I know? But I got to be honest, I'm not thinking a 3 or 4 day cruise on that giant ship is a good idea. I just don't. I'm not going to get to do all the things. I'm not even going to get to do half the things. That's why it's not I don't know. We'll see how it pans out. I'm sure they will adjust, as they move along. Royal Caribbean is very adaptive to what their clients want. That is for sure. All right. Last thing on the docket for today. Margaritaville, Jimmy Buffett style. Rest in peace. What themed cruises will Margaritaville at Sea offer in 2026? This is an insider travel report from James Shillinglaw. Came out earlier today. Quote, not quote. It's just James writes, Margaritaville at Sea plans to offer a new set of themed cruises in 2026 on board Paradise. In addition, it's offering travelers the chance to get 50% off fares and kids sail free for a limited time. Paradise will sail from the port of Palm Beach in Florida on 2 to 4 night itineraries to Key West, the Bahamas, and Mexico. Margaritaville at Sea in 2026 will offer a series of new adventures created or centered around major annual holidays, celebrations, and events. From the ultimate pre-party pre-game to Key West, for Fantasy Fest to the ship's first ever voyage to Cozumel in time for Cinco de Mayo. Guests can find their perfect slice of paradise throughout the year through March 31st. Margaritaville at Sea is offering a 50% discount on all sailings aboard Paradise through December 31st, 2026. Plus, kids age 3 to 12 sail for free. Notable themed cruises on the 2026 calendar include the Big Game Getaway. Everybody wins with this 3-night weekend sailing with big game day festivities, big screen viewing, and themed specials. We all know what the big game is, right? I don't have to that looks like a fantastic party. I'm going to have to bring this up to my fantasy football league and let them know that such a thing is available. There is a Valentine's Day sailing. Imagine what they're going to be, what that theme's going to look like. Love is on deck for starry-eyed soulmates and sweethearts during this romantic Valentine's Day weekend cruise. St. Patty's Day, follow the rainbow to the golden Bahamian beaches and sip in beer specials, themed menus, and more. Cinco de Mayo. Paradise will embark on its first ever 4-night cruise to Cozumel for a Cinco de Mayo celebration. Jimmy Buffett Day is August 28th in 2026. Celebrate the legend himself, who created the moniker for the cruise line, on a 4-night sailing to Key West filled with Jimmy's favorite music, memories, and margaritas. My wife would love that cruise. Key West Fantasy Fest. Choose from 3 different 4-night cruises to join the party at Fantasy Fest and experience Key West at its most fun. I don't even know what Fantasy Fest is. The hell is Fantasy Fest? All right, we're going to look this shit up. Let's see here. Copy. Put in the little search. Fantasy Fest. Key West. What is this? Hold on, I'm bringing it up. Oh, was that no? Let's see here. Let's see the official Fantasy Fest website. Well, let's start here. Oh boy. I'm not exactly sure what it is. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Sorry. That was what I was going for. So apparently it's a quite a festive time in October. So check that out. Fantasyfest.com if, I mean, it looks like a giant crazy party. That's wild. All right. Well, there we go. That's that. Now we know what Fantasy Fest is. So go us, learning new stuff every day. Back to the rest of the Margaritaville theme parties. There's only one left on the list. The one left on the list is the very merry Margaritaville at Sea. That's on December 24th. Trade the stockings for flip-flops with a festive island-style holiday cruise over Christmas. Then soak in the energy and the excitement of the Junkanoo Festival, December 26th, in the Bahamian capital during a port stop in Nassau. The current offer can be booked through March 31st and is valid for all sailings through December 31st, 2026 on Paradise and April 24th, 2027 on Islander. For more details, you can make a reservation. You can visit their website. You can also talk to the sponsor of our show. That is Living Life in Style Travel. You can reach out to them at 816-744-1405. That's 816-744-1405. You can also find them on the web at livinlifeinstyle.com. That's livinlifenstyle.com. They can help you with all your travel needs. If you want to jump on one of these awesome Margaritaville at Sea promotions, they can definitely help you with that. So that about wraps up everything I had to talk about today. been a good day. We're moving right along. I am still making the changes. I still plan on making the changes and working towards those changes on the show, maybe adding a different channel with a different with different subject matters. I don't know. I'm working it all out, working out the details. Got a big cruise night presentation going on tonight for the signature, the Living Life and Style signature trip #1. So we'll be going over all of the details of the cruise with a bunch of the people who are going on the cruise. It will be a lot of fun. I'm excited to see what everybody has in mind for the things they want to do. All right, I'm going to hop off here. I got a lot of stuff to get done before I have my cruise night tonight. And so, one other thing. I can't say so yet. I got to check and make sure I can do what I want to do. But if I want to do it, I will have a programming update coming hopefully tomorrow, but we shall see. Anyway, that's it. I'm Eric. You can reach me. You can email me at eric@livinglifeandstyle.com. Be sure, if you're looking for anything to do with travel, you reach out to Living Life and Style Travel. They can help you with all of your travel needs, whether it is personal leisure travel or business travel. They can help you with it all, from flights to hotels to all-inclusive resorts, cruises, which they specialize in, as well as trips to Mexico and the Caribbean, also specialties of theirs. So if you would like to look into some future travel plans, please give them a call. You can reach them at 816-744-1405. That's 816-744-1405. You can also find them on the web at www.livinglifeinstyle.com. I'll spell that for you one more time. That's livinlifestyle.com. This has been Middays, Midlife in the Midwest. Please like, subscribe, share the channel with your friends. Everybody you know likes to go out and travel and have a great time. Please share that information with them. And other than that, I will see everyone here tomorrow.